Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson, brewers of Molson Canadian, the great Canadian breakaway. Canadian General Electric.
We bring good things to life.
Canadian Tire, where you'll find a lot more than tires. And by Ford of Canada. At Ford, quality is job one, right down the line. In Game 2 of the Prince of Wales Conference Championship in New York, the Islanders maintained their home ice advantage with a 5-2 victory over the Quebec Nordiques. The Nordiques played well in the first period and played even better in the second, but they couldn't cope with the sharp shooting of Mike Bossy. This, his seventh playoff goal, gave the Islanders a 2-1 second period lead. Then after the Nordiques had tied the game for the second time, the Islanders struck on the power play. Potvin to Persson to Mike Bossy, his second goal of the night and eighth of the playoffs, gave the Islanders a lead they never relinquished. They went on to score twice in the third period. And again in this game, the goaltending of Billy Smith represented a large difference for the Islanders. He's been the big star of the first two games. Tonight, the scene shifts for Game 3 to Le Colisée in Quebec City, led by General Manager Bill Torrey. The Islanders enter the arena, promised a different story by the Nordiques and their fans, but these are a talented and confident bunch of New York Islanders. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Hodge, and welcome to Game 3 at Le Colisée in Quebec City. The Nordiques, of course, have been in this situation before. They lost the first two games one series earlier at the Boston Garden and came here to Le Colisée needing a victory, and they got it with Wilf Paimon's overtime goal. That's what they're looking for tonight. Momentum that can come from home ice. The Islanders are talking confidently about a four-game sweep, also talking about some boredom, even though it's been a struggle for them to this point. In Vancouver tonight, the Canucks against the Chicago Blackhawks. That's game number 3 of the Campbell Conference Final, and we will be showing you the goals from that game and some live action as well, and that has been a rowdy affair to this point. Our crew tonight consists of Danny Gallivan, who will be calling the play-by-play. He'll be joined in the broadcast booth by Dick Irvin, and we welcome Bobby Hull to the broadcast booth in Quebec City for game number 3. Stay tuned and we'll see what this game from Quebec City brings as our Stanley Cup playoff coverage continues in just a moment.
I'm Peter Mansbridge for CBC News. Here's the latest on the Falkland Islands crisis. Fighting broke out around the islands tonight, with British jets shooting down 2 Argentine jets and with British warships shelling Argentine positions on the islands. British planes also attacked 2 airfields early this morning. There are conflicting reports about the success of the attacks. Britain claims it has left the main airport on the islands at Port Stanley unusable, but Argentine spokesmen say the damage was minor and the airport is still functional. All through the day, spokesman said, Argentine and British planes played cat and mouse as the Argentine fighters tried to probe the 200-mile blockade imposed by Britain. A major air battle followed when the British warships moved closer to the islands to bombard Argentine troop positions. This has been a special broadcast from CBC News. We will be back on the air between periods of tonight's game with the latest details. And we'll have a full report later tonight on the National. For CBC News, I'm Peter Mansbridge. Now back to Hockey Night in Canada.
This is Dave Hodge with Bobby Hull. In our Quebec City studios, we have a contest of less worldwide significance here in Quebec City tonight, but you might not know that from the activities in the crowd in Quebec City. Bobby, you've been in more than enough 7-game series to know that the third game can often be pivotal. This should be a 4-game sweep for the Islanders if they win tonight, but who knows if Quebec can win. What do the Nordiques have to do to make home ice work for them?
Well, of course, home ice advantage is so very important to the Quebec team tonight, Dave, but only if they take advantage of it. This crowd will be going. They'll be vociferous, and in order for them to, the Nordiques to maintain that advantage, they've got to do something early. They've got to come out and either score 1 early or 2 and cause this crowd to stay behind them, or else play the kind of hockey that to keep New York off the score sheet and to keep the fans behind them.
The Islanders have never trailed in this series in either of the first two games, and I would think that's important under any circumstances for any team that is playing the New York Islanders. You don't want to try to catch up against them.
Oh, you can't play catch-up hockey against this club, especially with Smith being so hot in goal. And we talk about the crowd. They played in Madison Square Gardens and never lost a game against the Rangers, so they're a poised hockey club. It's going to depend, again, I say, if the Nordiques take advantage of this hometown crowd and keep them going for them. But that Islanders, I watched them work out this morning, Dave, and they're an awesome group. They come at you, they throw waves at you. They're a fine hockey club.
Where they have had trouble on the road in these playoffs was in the Pittsburgh series. They won 2 games easily, more easily than they beat Quebec, mind you. And then went into Pittsburgh and I guess assumed that they would sweep the series and had some trouble in Pittsburgh. Now, could one of their problems be all of this talk about, well, the Islanders will just automatically move on to the final and then automatically win it?
Well, I've heard that a couple of the players seem bored during these playoffs. Now, that's a bad attitude to sweep across any hockey club. I think they had trouble in Pittsburgh because maybe the Trottier line was contained somewhat. But you can't give guys like Bossy a chance to shoot that puck because he doesn't miss very many. And I believe their poise and their winning the last 2 years, it should give them enough confidence that this kind of boredom in some of the boys won't really take over and cause any problems.
Speaking of Trottier, we're liable to see Dale Hunter checking him in a virtual line matchup that Michel Bergeron could not employ at the Nassau Coliseum. Hunter against Trottier, what should we look for there?
Well, I look forward to Dale coming alive. He and Bouchard, as far as I was concerned, were the key guys in that Montreal win. Dale hasn't, I think maybe he really tired himself out, and he should have because he played monumental hockey. But I think he'll come on here when given the task to check a guy like Trottier. He may just come alive and cause a little problems like he did in the Montreal series.
Defense will be slightly altered tonight for Quebec, but it has been bruised and battered, and of course it was so important in the Montreal series that you worked and also against the Boston Bruins, so we'll have to see how the Quebec defense holds up against the relentless pursuit of the Islander forwards. Well, we're getting set to drop the puck, and so we'll send Bobby upstairs where he will join Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin.
A lively evening here at the Coliseum. We don't agree on many things, but Dick Irvin agrees with me on that.
Well, I have some signs that I guess have been commercially printed by somebody. Go, Nordiques, go. This has been the first time that the Quebec fans have had a chance to greet their team since the dramatic win in Game 7, Danny, in Boston last Sunday night. They're down by 2. They were against the Bruins. Of course, they won the 3rd game, and we know what happened after that.
And Dick Irvin is now covering his 15th Nordiques playoff game in 23 days. Now the national anthems.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what the brother we have as the twilight lies gleaming, whose the pipes and brass stars through the perilous fight, for the rain that we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the
officials will come into view in a moment. There they are. Wally Harris is the referee, Gerard Gauthier, and Sweet Knox the linesman, and Denny Morrell is the backup man. Now the goaltenders. The visitor, I presume, first. Are we going to see anybody? Yes, there we have Billy Smith. He's been outstanding in the series. 2.57. Down the other end, Daniel Bouchard. There he is. 3.33. Dick, Bobby, and I were talking before the start of the telecast. The oddity that Smith and Bouchard each was born on December the 12th, 1950. Somebody says the biorhythms are good. Do you subscribe to that nonsense? The biorhythms?
Scoreless tie, is that what that means tonight?
No goals, and we're going over. Now the puck is cleared into Quebec territory. Weir is back there. It stopped. Gilly shoots it in. And the Islanders sending the defense of Morrow. And Johnson is out there. They fire it in. That was a weak shot from the point by Morrow. And the Islanders have made changes. Now Merrick is on. There's Paymont going in. He knocked down that pass. But he couldn't pick it up and went all the way in there. Number 11, Merrick and McRae are battling for the puck, and they get a whistle.
Interesting that Basil McRae, who has seen very little of any action tonight, has been Michel Bergeron's choice to start at right wing. Bergeron's made some changes tonight. Gaston Perrier and Pierre Lacroix, two young defensemen who were in the lineup 2 nights ago, are not. And Dale Hoganson is, and Mario Marois back. Al Arbor has made one change. Mike McEwen is not in uniform. Thomas Johnson is. They say they want to get a bit more speed on the defense. Johnson, a speedier player.
Well, Bobby, you made it up, and you seem to be in pretty good condition. Any more final comments before we really get into the game? Well, you were coaching in Bergeron's place. You need a win. What would you do?
Well, you've got to have your players go in and forecheck and try not to get behind this Islander club. You can't play catch-up hockey against this kind of a club.
They're just too good. They're a fine hockey club. But what an exciting team the Nordiques have been this year. The way they have thrilled not only the fans here in the province of Quebec, but all over the National Hockey League. Now, coming out on the right side, Aubry is coming down with McRae, and he lost it. Nystrom cleared it out. Came on, bringing it back in there. It's in the goal! McRae gets the goal!
Boy, I'll tell you, that was awfully close to being offside. Did you notice that, Bobby? The linesman waited for just a moment when Paymont stopped the puck at the blue line.
Oh, that was so close. I was waiting for a whistle, Dick, but Paymont kept going, went to go around behind the net and threw it out to McRae, who backhanded it past Smith. That's the way the Nordiques had to get started, Danny. Keep this crowd behind them.
Well, it makes the coach look like a genius putting McRae out there starting the game.
Well, he tucked it into the lower corner on the backhand, so Basil McRae, as we mentioned, a bit of a surprise to start the hockey game. Surprises us with the opening goal at 1:10. Good play by Will Paymont on the setup, and Quebec quickly leads 1-0.
The announcement on the goal. Nordiques leading 1-0. They jam in on the boards in New York Islanders territory. And they get a stoppage in play. Well, you know, the coach Bergeron said the crowd, when they're in their finest form here in the Colisée, they're like a seventh man for my team. They did have 7 men. What was it, a rover, Dick? You remember that.
Yeah, I remember covering a lot of those games. Bobby, I think, was the left winger in those.
That's when I was dropping the puck for Dick's dad, Daddy.
The Ottawa Silver 7. Now, it's Trottier. He fails to get out. You have some good forechecking here, Bobby, by the Nordiques. Now, finally, the Islanders get it in over the line. But Hunter peeled back and got in there and cleared it over to Goulet on the wing. And Goulet playing it into the center ice area. Cloutier had trouble picking it up, and Bosley rolled it back in. Now at the line, that one did come out, and it's called on the offside.
From the Coliseum in Quebec City, this is Stanley Cup 82.
And there are the two coaches with Arbor, who does it quite often, hitching up his trousers. The left do some hitching up right now because they are behind, but it's just 1-0. Now it's center, cleared away by Bouchard. at the line. Whipped back in there by Lane. Bichette. Oh, what a solid check on Anton Stastny by Potvin. He rocked him in the center ice area. Into the center ice zone again. Potvin over to center, over on this side. Tonelli. Good defensive play there by Bichette. Now it's Stastny Marion coming up with Peter and Anton over the line. Backhand shot. And Smith covers up.
Pretty good play that time by the Stastnys. That one looked like it might have sneaked through Billy Smith's legs. Did not. Then we get some pushing and shoving off to the edge of the Islander goal crease to our right. Dave Bichette, you saw him there just a moment ago, number 29. A good defensive play. Here's that play again now at the line. Aubry in on the play. Now watch where Paymont picks it up. Is it over? Ooh, yes. That is an offside play, Bobby.
I was waiting for the whistle. I thought that the puck did come out. Here's that play. Here's Paymont going behind the net just before he goes around, shovels it out to McRae from Beaverton, Quebec, and he finds a low hole.
Islanders didn't squawk. They didn't say a word. I watched for that. They didn't argue.
But I thought I noticed, it might have been my imagination, that some of the players eased up a bit. However, that is history. And on the board, it's 1-0 for Quebec in the first period. Big Bichette. He's being watched and driven back by a fellow who's on the go all the time, Goring. Now Sutter went after his man Rochefort. Here's Hickey coming up, and Gillies played it back into the center ice area. A long pass that turned out to be a giveaway, but one good turn deserves another, and they gave it back. Then the Islanders got it a third time, and they shot it into Quebec territory. 3 minutes and 20 seconds have gone by in the opening period. A lead pass to Cote. He gets it over to Hickey. Passing it over. It rolled agonizingly toward that goal post. There's a shot. Stopped on the short side. Aubry had the opportunity. Now to the far side. Lane goes over on that wing by Cote. Puck over the board.
And the fans enjoying the start by the home team. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff games coming to you from the Colisée in Quebec City.
So the fans settled into their seats in a relaxed manner, I presume, after that close call down there to the right of Smith. There's Hoganson feeding it into the center ice area. Weir cutting it on that left side. Centers it. Smith playing it on the board. Here's Weir again. Weir getting it back. Let's see if it goes to the corner from McRae to Paymont. No, the Islanders into the center ice area. Pass was too far for Tonelli. Janssen back in action for the Islanders. He has a hip pointer over in front of Guns. That was a glorious opportunity there for Merrick. If he had been able to reach that puck, he was all alone. Tonelli is upended by Hoganson. Aubry goes after Merrick, and the Nordiques are much more aggressive than they were in New York.
Well, gentlemen, for the record, Wayne Merrick and the Islanders have lost the last two games they played here. January 31st, 1981, it was 5-1. That was Dan Bouchard's first game here in Quebec since after the trade from Calgary. The only time they played here this past season, they were beaten by a score of 7-2. So they might think that Quebec City, Danny, is a nice place to visit, but they haven't enjoyed playing hockey here lately.
Well, Bobby, when you see a fellow like Aubry ladling out a pretty solid body check in there, you know that everybody is going to be hitting. They weren't hitting that way in New York.
Well, he's not the biggest guy on the Quebec team.
No, he ordinarily doesn't hit.
He's alive. This whole club is alive. And as we talked about this hometown crowd, in order for the Nordiques to take advantage of them, they had to count early and continue to press the Islanders.
So the Islanders now with everybody up. Trottier lost the draw. It's fed to center by Marois. Marois has been a very courageous man, playing so much hockey, playing with an enormous handicap now behind the net. Harrison gives it off. Langevin gets it out on the right side. Over on the left wing. Bourne takes the shot after taking the inside pass. It's centered to the lip of the crease by Bossy. rattled back into the corner. Bossy is shoved by Hunter. Now it's knocked down. There's a shot. And Trottier was set up beautifully off the arm of Bouchard. Here's Bossy shooting it. Bouchard did not know where the rebound went, but he kept it out. Good pressure here by the Islanders. Having lost the stick, courageous Marois dove in on the ice, and the players mill about in that corner area.
Dale Hunter taking a pretty good run at Mike Bossy as the whistle was being blown. Hunter almost kicked the puck into his own net, but a couple of giveaways there, Bobby, and a great stop, I thought, by Bouchard off Trottier when he got the blocker in front of that shot from the slot.
Well, they're trying to watch this line individually, and I don't think you can do that. You can't be chasing individuals all over in your own end. You've got to play a kind of a zone. And if your man goes to a different zone, you stay there and hope that your teammate will pick him up. Once you start running it with Bossy and Trottier, they'll run you all over the place.
This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Colisée in Quebec City.
Here's a confidence and quality offer to turn the import world upside down. It's on the new size Ford Ranger. Ranger offers a 2-year comprehensive warranty and 2-year scheduled maintenance at...
Now there's Mario Marois as the result of all of that pushing and shoving in the Nordique zone. Marois gets the penalty. 5:22.
Now Janssen over on the other side to Potvin in front. Janssen is going to keep it in. It went off Dupont's stick. Janssen over to Potvin. He's in his favorite position. Gets it into Sutter. A shot along the ice and blocked by Bouchard. Cleared down the ice. There's potency in this Islanders power play, Bobby.
There certainly is. But it looks like Bouchard is on his game tonight. And if he is, he'll be tough.
Potvin is the key guy in the power play.
I would say so, and I've always said that puck coming out of the corners, those corner men are so very important, Danny, on a power play.
Now Gillies took Goring's pass into the air, backhand swipe by Sutter. Cleared down the ice. That was Goulet who hopped on it and shot it down the ice. 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the Marois penalty. We're into the first period with 13:45 left. A lead pass to Bossy over on this side. Islanders Potvin forced back, doing excellent work. Great work by Potvin. Now Bossy firing it back. Goulet, he has excellent speed going after it. Pearson trying to cut him off. Here's Goulet. Pearson cut him off, then stayed with him. And Potvin leads the power play attack. Pearson, and it goes to Bourne over the line with Trottier. Rochefort golfed it down the ice. A very solid and effective stand on the power play by the Nordiques. They're not giving the Islanders too many good shots. Now the time left in the penalty, 20 seconds. Islanders again on that left wing. It's Trottier in over the line. He's working right in the goal over front. There's just, they score! Bossy, what a magnificent setup that was.
Brian Trottier working by Dave Bichette as he came in on the left side. Trottier to Bossy, the well-established firm back in business. Bobby, it's 1-1.
Let's watch this on the replay. Bichette, the cardinal sin. Watch how he looks at the puck on Trottier. See him go for the puck. He just slipped it by him, and there's Bossy coming in on the right side, and he doesn't waste any time. Here it is again. There's Trottier going past Bichette over to Bossy, and that Bossy releases that puck quicker than anyone in the league.
Put that into the play as well.
Well, there's the gentleman, number 22. You saw him for a fraction of a second on the bench there. 22, Bossy. Here's Weir, big Weir, up on the left side. Morrow and Weir into the boards. Weir went down. Paymont getting it in front. And McCrae couldn't pick it up. The Islanders swing it down on the left side for Merrick. If Hoganson touches it, it'll be icing. Hoganson does.
So we have Bossy on the power play. The penalty to Marois just about over. Trottier and Potvin assisting. Bossy had 2 the other night on Thursday in New York. For Mike, that's his 9th goal of this playoff year.
Bobby, is it a Hunter covering on Trottier all the time?
This is what they're going to try. Understand that's what Coach Bergeron is going to try to get Hunter against Trottier all evening. Now, whether he can do it or not, it'll depend on how the game goes.
Looks like a penalty coming up here.
The penalty box for a 2-minute penalty, so it could be a bench minor. And unsportsmanlike conduct, we'll have to wait for the announcement. But Denny Potvin's in the box, and now the Nordiques get their first chance at a power play. Unsportsmanlike conduct and Denny Potvin. I guess we cannot repeat exactly the reason, Danny.
Electronically unprintable. That's what they use, I think. Now there's Trottier clearing it down the ice. Let us now pick up the alignment on the power play for the Nordiques. The Stastnys, Peter, Marion, and Anton. The forward on the point on the left side, Cloutier. Piché is on too. There's Peter Stastny getting it back. Here's Piché taking a look. Over to Marion Stastny. Piché to Stastny to the side of the net. Ready to go. He scored! Peter Stastny!
Oh, they do that so well.
They talk about the Stastnys, Bobby, in a situation like that, but give young Dave Bichette a lot of credit because he was the guy who controlled it at the right point.
Well, I hope you can see here, Dick. Peter Stastny was directing traffic just before this. He told Marion, throw it back to Bichette, back to Marion, into Peter, and they had that defenseman, or that forward. I guess it was the defenseman. Now let's see if it was the forward in there covering Peter Stastny or not, but he just moved out far enough to allow Peter to come out of the corner.
Interesting thing was Billy Smith was down on the ice before the play was made by Stastny. He had fallen already.
So the Nordiques are leading 2-1. Gillies clearing it in. Gillies trying to upset Rushmore. Puck into the center ice area. Here is Goring. Goring is upended by Rushmore. Forced back. Marion Stastny to Peter. Back to Marion. It just didn't click. We've had 2 power play goals, both of them picture goals. Beautifully executed. Now Anton Stastny takes a man in on the board. And that was Lane. Marion Stastny a shot. Pressure here by the Stastnys. Into the center ice area it comes. And Marion got back and played it to Marois over on the other side to Dupont. Dupont coming down, flicked it ahead. Potvin goes back in there, cruising in as Cloutier and Anton Stastny. Good back checking there by number 9. That's Cloutier. In off the boards. Hunter, he's tied up by Lane. Here come the Islanders. They hit the line, the pass. Caller lost it. It's picked up by Carroll. Good play in front of the net by Captain Dupont. He intercepted a pass that was intended for Brent Sutter, and he was in behind Dupont. Now in the center ice area, Dupont lobbed it into the corner area. Langevin is in there and forechecking is Hunter. On with him as Goulet and Cloutier. However, the Islanders into the center ice area. Sutter at the line, having difficulty. Caller helps him out. Over on this side to Langevin, they stop. Oh, it's on the line, almost on the line. Harris was there. He said, no goal, no question of a goal.
With the score, the Quebec Nordiques 2 and the New York Islanders 1. This is Stanley Cup 82. Close call at the Nordiques goal. We'll take a look at it. The puck dribbled in behind Bouchard just inside the post. Now look at that. He sprawls, gets the left leg down, hangs on. Harris waves it off. That last goal was scored in 8:02. Peter Stastny from Merriam and Bichette.
So the time remaining is 10:01 as we look at Daniel Bouchard. And the Nordiques are leading 2-1. The Islanders, everybody out. That is Hoganson. Tonelli diligently goes after Hoganson, who lugs it up on the right side and gets it into the center ice area. Tonelli has it handed back. There's the shot. It's off Weir's stick on the deflection, and it's over the glass.
Here's Dave Hodge with an NHL update.
Chicago 1, Vancouver 0. That's the goal by Glenn Sharpley, assisted by Tom Lysiak.
Well, that's the action in Vancouver. Today, the Canucks as a team were fined $10,000 by the NHL. And Roger Nielsen, $1,000 personally for the waving the white towel routine in Chicago 2 nights ago.
That area is inside the Nordique line, and they clear it out. Janssen feeding it ahead on the left wing. Nystrom going in after Tonelli's pass. It's centered. Covered in front was Merrick by Weir there. Gets sticks up on each other. Now here's Paymont coming up with Aubry. Aubry over the line. Drop back to Paymont. He dances in there. Drops it back. And it's Merrick getting it to Tonelli. Tonelli over the line. Whistle a shot wide. Morrow playing it in. McRae hands it off to Aubry. Up at the line is Paymont. Here's McRae getting it back. Marois shooting it. It was high over the top of the net. In behind the net, Paymont. Janssen knocking it. Let's see if Marois will keep it in. He does. Tonelli knocking down a high Janssen pass. Kicked it out to Nystrom. Back to Tonelli. He's closing in. Shoots. And that one ends up finally off the glass behind Bouchard. Let's see, is there a penalty coming up here?
Marois draws his second penalty of the period. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in just a moment.
We're down to 10. Who's gonna win? Hey, what a game. Feeling so proud, laughing out loud. Hey, what a great day. Breakaway. We're the face that's clean and clear. Molson Canadian, the great Canadian breakaway.
Mario Marois off for slashing at 11:23 in this first period. The Nordiques lead the Islanders 2-1. New York now on the power play.
And each team's power play has been relatively productive so far in this hockey game. Each team with a goal. The Nordiques are leading 2-1. Now it's Bourne playing it into the center ice area to Bossy. Back to Bourne over the line. Here's Trottier. He's dynamite around that net, getting it back. Pearson over to Potvin, right in front of the shot. They score! Bossy!
Bob Bourne was in front of the net. Bobby, did he get his stick, skate, leg, whatever on the puck?
I believe he did, Dick. Bossy just wheeled and fired it, and it hit Bourne on either the skate or the leg and bounced in past Bouchard.
Danny, I don't know about your biorhythms, but I'm wondering about these goaltenders tonight. Neither one of them looks all that sharp. Here's the play here, Bobby. You're right. Bossy, boy, does he do that well. There's got to be a lesson in there for the kids, the way he fires that puck.
Now watch, Trottier. I was telling you how important it is for that play to come out of the corners. Those corner men, there it is, back to the point to Pearson, over to Potvin, into Bossy, and it hit Bourne up in the partway up in his body and deflected past Bouchard.
Well, there's a lesson being taught early in this hockey game. Do not get penalties tonight. Now Goulet coming in on that left side. Fired it off, and it goes to the left wing, the Islanders. Trottier. Over for Bossy. In behind the net. DuPont was bodied by Bourne. Into the center ice area. Goulet one-on-one. The shot. And a rising shot was wide to the far left side of Smith. Pichette gets it over on the other side to Rochefort. Trottier giving it to Gillies. Oh, that had to be a good stretch there by Bouchard to glove that one. It came in rather quickly. The Nordiques into the center ice area. Cloutier. Cloutier getting some skating room. Feeds it ahead on the left side. Peter Stastny around the net. Stastny getting set for a pass. He passes it. Pichette rolled it in front of the net. And it's knocked away by Gillies out on the right side. Now we're going to have a penalty, maybe eventually two. Let's see. Words between Trottier and Pichette.
Things warming up a little bit right at the center ice area. Trottier was involved in the play. Peter Stastny went down. Trottier's gone to the penalty box. Live from Quebec City, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Get a toaster oven.
Brian Trottier for hooking at 12:58. We've had 3 power play goals in about 4.5 minutes of playing time here. The last one, Bourne, his 7th of the playoffs. Potvin and Bossy assisting. There's Trottier hauling down Peter Stastny right at the center ice red line. So the Nordiques get their power play chance going again, Danny.
And again, they have the Stastnys up front. Pichette is over on the right side, and Cloutier on the left point. Cloutier to Pichette. 6 minutes and 55 seconds the time left in the opening period. Marian Stastny over to brother Anton. The Islanders getting into that box formation. Pichette to the other side. Stastny. Peter got it back from Pichette. Now here's Pichette closing in for the shot. A hot shot grab there by Smith with Marian Stastny looking for a rebound that never did come.
I think maybe Pichette could have walked in a little bit.
Here's Dave with another NHL update.
And now passing the puck and hitting Thomas Gradin. And Gradin scores from Hlinka. The Canucks are even with the Blackhawks at 1-1.
Now it's back into Nordiques territory. Trottier with 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining in his penalty. And a wave of 5 Nordiques come to the New York Islanders line. And they find it difficult to penetrate. And finally they have to go back into their own zone. Now Bourne is a penalty killer off the bench. He comes on. He goes deep into the New Nordiques territory. Marian Stastny over on the other side. Person spinorama there in fine fashion. Not quite as good as Savard's, but it's effective.
Rochefort touched the puck over his shoulder. And with the Nordiques having a man advantage, the faceoff will come down into the Quebec zone to the left of Daniel Bouchard. Well, there's Bob Bourne, who scored that power play goal at 11:43. Potvin and Bossy assisting. Mike McEwen, normally out there wearing number 2 for the Islanders, given the night off tonight by Al Arbor. Thomas Jonsson, the rookie from Sweden, taking his place on defense for New York.
McEwen has played very, very well offensively, Danny and Dick, but I believe they felt they needed a little more speed here with Johansson, a little more defensive part of the game to be played.
Caller used up some seconds, took it to center, whipped it back in. Now we have 44 seconds left in the Trottier penalty. Here come the Nordiques. They don't get very far again. And it's cleared down the ice. It's Goulet on the other side. Tardif is on the ice. Is that the first time tonight? I think it is. He was outstanding. In New York on Thursday, he plays it to the side of the net. Around the net, Paymon trying to get it out. Hoganson is back at the point. Let's see, will he pass it or shoot it? He gives it to Paymon. Paymon is working off the boards to the side of the net. To Hunter, back to Paymon. Paymon getting set for the shot. Not much on it. Now Tardif giving it for a Hunter. They fight for it. Paymon comes up with it. 1 second left in the penalty. It's all over. Now Tardif rolled it. It comes through the lip of the crease, and gobbling it up is Trottier. He's down. In over the line. The shot 2 or 3 feet wide. Wheeling away into the center ice area. Good move by Hunter. Hunter coming down, chasing it against Tonelli. They ram each other in on the boards. Janssen playing it to the other side. It'll be cleared in by Hoganson. Score is tied at 2. Hoganson again cleared it in. Missing it was Morrow. And Smith was waiting just in case something like that happened. Janssen in the corner area to Tonelli. He trapped it. Chases it now on the left side. Over to Merrick, going in with Nystrom. Nystrom covered there by DuPont. Nordiques at the line. Audrey to Cote. Cote over the line into the corner. Merrick plays it to the far side for Tonelli. Tonelli, he hit Nystrom with a very accurate pass, a drop pass there to Merrick. He lost it on the right side. Marois Cote has it with Peter Stastny and Hickey. Back it goes to Cote to Stastny. A shot to the short side. It went off Smith. We're off the side of the net over the glass.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Colisée in Quebec City.
With everything Canadian time.
I'm Dick Irvin along with Danny Gallivan, Bobby Hull, and Dave Hodge. We are at the Colisée in Quebec City. Game 3 in this Islanders-Nordiques Wales Conference Final. Tempers getting a little bit testy out there following the stoppage in play. We've got too many players on the ice, Bobby, more than the allowable 5. Nordiques had a terrible line change here a minute ago. On a rush up the ice, they were short a man for a good 15 seconds before they got things straightened out. I don't know. That's a strange one. All right, here's another NHL update. Dave.
From the point, the Vancouver Canucks have taken the lead, and that is the go-ahead goal by Neil Belland, beating Murray Bannerman from the point, and then the Blackhawks came back and tied it on the goal by Doug Wilson that we'll see if we get a chance. It's the same scores we have here, 2-2 in Vancouver.
And the shots on goal, 8-7. Are we getting 2 penalties? I believe here at least an indication from Harris that one was going to goal.
Trottier and Peter Stastny
going again. That Peter Stastny, Bobby?
I believe so. You're not going to intimidate him.
Now that goes back to the last movie there at center ice when Trottier hauled him down. They got Stastny grabbed Trottier's stick at that time and was upset. Well, then they started to fence a bit with each other right here. And again, it's NHL update time. Once again, no, it's not. I thought that was in Vancouver. There we see it.
Well, that's NHL update, too.
We're just updating the penalty
Absolutely.
situation here.
You're right on the ball,
Thanks,
Dick.
Danny. I needed that.
Scores tied at 2, 3:34.
All right, here's Dave again now.
This is the Doug Wilson goal that tied it for Chicago after Neil Belland put Vancouver in front. It's a long shot from the point, and there haven't been many of these so-called bad goals beating Richard Brodeur. But that is the Wilson goal, and it's 2-2 in
If that
Vancouver.
fellow Wilson hasn't the hardest shot in hockey, he's up there with the guy who has.
Oh, he can really blitz it. He can let him go. And what a great kid he is, too.
He's Murray Wilson's brother, isn't he? Now the puck in the Islanders zone. There is Potvin. Forechecking Cloutier. Lane on the right side. Not spectacular in this series, but outstanding, that gentleman there. But he wasn't too good there. Lane, he lost it to Hunter. I can put the whammy on anybody. Now there's Cloutier. Cloutier turning in the corner, getting it back to Marois. Over on the other side, right in front, Cloutier. Couldn't get it, but a penalty. Is it a penalty? Number 5, Potvin.
Well, Wally Harris busy all of a sudden here at this point of the hockey game. Somebody was dumped in the zone down there. Potvin gets the finger from Harris, so the Islanders have 2 men in the box, Trottier and Potvin. Take a look at it here. I saw Dale Hunter lying on the ice when the whole thing was over. Well, that's a pretty good reason why he was lying on the ice, Bobby. And for that, then Potvin pays the price of 2 minutes.
Potvin seems very testy tonight, doesn't he?
He is, and he's not the only one. There's a guy in the penalty box over there, Trottier, that generally minds his own business.
Well, you know, Potvin may have been reprimanded for making a statement, allegedly, that he found it difficult to get excited about the hockey.
Well, I think not only he and that club felt that it was a boring playoff season. I don't know how these guys could be bored in the Stanley Cup playoff.
So a glorious opportunity now for the Nordiques. They get the draw. It goes to Cloutier. He swings to the other side. Cloutier closing in, and a shot that's drilled. Pichette fakes it. He can move in there. He takes the shot off the arm of Smith. Cloutier has it to the side of the net. Paymont back to Cloutier. Paymont now with Smith after him. Paymont into the corner, getting it back to Anton Stastny. Stastny to Paymont. Paymont rolling it, still after it, into the corner. Stastny Pichette is going to move in. Let's see, will he shoot it? Hands it off to Stastny. Over on the far side, Cloutier fired a rising shot. And it's over the glass. Not getting many shots. They got control, but not getting many shots, Bobby.
I believe they have to move it around on this one side, that the side that they flood, and get that one man playing, the penalty killer playing in the center, to move over to that side, and then with a quick pass over to where Cloutier was standing that time. They're not getting to him quite quick enough.
Interesting, Michel Bergeron the other day was saying that when they have the power play at home, you know, we've talked a lot about the patience this team shows, puck control. The fans, he claims, get the players a bit uptight because they yell, shoot, shoot, shoot. He said he doesn't like to hear that.
Same thing in Winnipeg, Dick, when Hedberg and Nilsson, Schuberg, Mike Ford and I played on the power play, or Kent Nilsson. We used to move that puck around, and we'd move it around for a minute and 3/4 till we got that proper chance, and all you need is the one go at it.
But the fans will be hollering at you to shoot the puck.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Now the Nordiques into the center ice area. They lose it. Taking it on the left side is Bourne, and he sends it back into Quebec territory. Peter Stastny and Trottier with 16 seconds left in the penalty. Top at 45. Here come the Nordiques. They rip it into the corner. In there goes Tardif. He bumps his man. But they give it up without really a fight there, and the Islanders take over. However, Pichette wheels back, comes in over the line. Trottier and Stastny are back on. Hunter turning on the boards. Back to the line. Cloutier over to Pichette. Off the boards. Goring cleared it down the ice. Bouchard coming away off. Now here's Marion Stastny over on the far side. It goes. Hunter turns. Hoganson is back at the line. Nordic still with the advantage. 6 seconds left in the penalty. They take the shot and shoot it. They shoot. They hit the goal post. The players celebrated as if it was a goal, but no light went on. Cloutier thought he had a goal. There's the shot. Marion Stastny just wide. But there was no argument, no obvious argument from the Nordiques. There is Morrow down there, and he is doing a little fencing with Hunter. How did you see that shot?
Well, I believe it hit the right goal post to Smith's right, went up and hit the crossbar about halfway across the net and then bounced out, or else hit on back in the net. But I believe it hit the post and then the crossbar. I don't know whether we can get a shot of that or not. Cloutier, I'm sure, thought it was in, as well as a lot of other people. Here it is here. Here's Cloutier. Here comes the puck.
Yep.
I guess just off the crossbar.
Post to the crossbar, Bobby.
So.
Look at it.
That's right. Here it is again. Let's see. Watch again. Yeah, hit the
incredible
post and then the crossbar now.
Well, Morrow and Hunter drew penalties for that high-sticking duel of theirs at 19-13 here in this first period. A 2-2 tie. And we've had some scoring chances, particularly the Nordiques, it would seem.
So number 6 of the Islanders is off along with 32. And they'll finish out this period in the penalty box. 44 seconds the time remaining. Now at the line, Marois over on the far side. Dupont clearing it ahead. Cote bumped there by Lane. Peter Stastny twisting and turning. He spun around by Trottier. Another visitation in order to the penalty box for number 19, Trottier. He has lost any chance he has for the playoff version of the Bing Trophy.
His Stastny's going with him. That's the second time that they've been sent off together. You see Trottier take a jab at Cote, and when the whistle went, boy, he just won't quit. Don Cherry pointed this out the other night, Bobby. Whenever you check Brian Trottier, don't think the play's all over. He always answers you back.
Well, Cote happened to run into him as he swung up in the center ice zone, and whether it was Stastny or whoever, he was going to take a whack at him.
So the penalties have been called to Morrow and Hunter. Now we get Stastny and Trottier. Third time that they have come together. There's Stastny with the slash on Trottier in retaliation. So they're both getting penalties for slashing on the play.
So with 22 seconds left, the face-off outside the Islanders' line. Each team with 3 players in front of the goalie. Now Marois leading the final attack, maybe. There's a hot shot by Marois, and hopping on it was Smith. Now the Nordiques will have time for another shot, but that was a harmless one, and that is the end of the period. First period, 2-2 the score.
Well, a lively period, Bobby, for the most part, and I thought the Nordiques came out and pretty well did what they have to do to win this hockey game.
Well, they did, Dick, and let's hope that they can maintain that momentum. I've seen them a lot peppier than they are in that first period.
So we've got a tie hockey game, and the score at the end of the first period, the New York Islanders 2, the Quebec Nordiques 2.
Bring us the wind, me and my friends.
Having some fun, warm sunshine.
Riding the breeze, taking it easy.
Hey, what a day.
Sailing in the sky, oh what a ride. Hey, what a great day. Making the most of every moment, that's what it's all about. Hey, what a great day.
Break away
with a taste that's clean and clear. Molson Canadian, the great Canadian. Break away. Molson Canadian, break away.
Some oil companies make a lot of claims about their oils. But Quaker State offers an extended lubrication warranty on new car engines protected exclusively by Quaker State Motor Oil, the way they have since 1932. Now that's putting your confidence where your oil is. And what's more, with these new Energy Saver motor oils, you can save enough on gas to pay for the oil you use in oil changes. So Quaker State helps cars last and save gas too. No extravagant claims, just quality motor oil.
Somebody's on a real tight budget.
Somebody's got a muffler wall.
Somebody needs a friend to turn to.
I know where to go.
Be somebody. Come to Speedy. Be somebody.
Not bad. Lot less than I expected. Hey, babe, wanna go to the drive-in tonight?
Come to Speedy. Ain't place to go. Be somebody. Come to Speedy. Ain't place to go.
Good evening, I'm Peter Mansbridge. Here is the latest on the Falkland Islands crisis. Air and sea fighting tonight continue between both British and Argentine forces. The violence follows an early morning strike by Britain against the main military airstrip, the capital city of Port Stanley. British warships have shelled Argentine positions, and jet fighters have engaged in dogfights throughout the day and into the evening. There are conflicting claims about casualties and damage. Our correspondents in both the British and Argentine capitals have been monitoring developments all day. Mark Phillips is in London and has this update on the way Britain sees the battle.
Reports of the South Atlantic battle are still coming into London. The British say they've shot down 2 Argentine Mirage jet fighters and 1 Canberra bomber. The planes were part of an Argentine force attacking the British task force off the Falklands. The British say they still have not suffered any casualties themselves. The Argentine attacks this evening follow earlier British attacks on Port Stanley and Goose Green airstrips on the Falkland Islands. It also seems that some of the ships of the task force have been shelling the Port Stanley airstrip and other Argentine positions this evening. The British confirm that one of their ships has been hit in the fighting, but they say only minor damage was inflicted. Mark Phillips, CBC News, London.
Our correspondent in Buenos Aires, Brian Stewart, reports tonight that the Argentine High Command claims at least 2 and possibly 4 British jets were destroyed and 3 frigates damaged by its forces. Britain says it hasn't lost any planes and the 2 Argentine planes were down. Those are the latest developments in the Falklands crisis. CBC News will update the situation again between the second and third periods of tonight's game. Full details, of course, later tonight on The National. For CBC News, I'm Peter Mansbridge. Now back to Hockey Night in Canada.
At Le Colisée in Quebec City, the Islanders 2 and Quebec 2. Basil McRae and Peter Stastny for the Nordiques. Mike Bossy and Bob Bourne have scored for the New York Islanders, and with me is Mario Marois, who has returned to action in tonight's lineup for the Quebec Nordiques. One injury is bad enough, but Mario has 2 to worry about that we know of, a broken wrist, and you might be able to see the cast, and a knee injury. Are you healthy? Is this game
No, really.
all right for you?
Well, it's tough to play the game, but what the hell, I think couple more weeks and I get to play, and after that we will have 3 months. So I think that's the right thing to try and play the best as I can. But it's not worth a lot tonight. I think it's slow out there. Well, I missed last 5 days without skating, so that gave me a tough time in the first period. And I got caught with a couple of bad penalties and didn't help my club at all.
Well, you talk about bad penalties, and yet your coach wants Quebec to be aggressive. That has to be difficult to do against the New York Islanders, to be aggressive and not take the penalty.
Yeah, it is. Well, the referee is calling, I think, everything tonight is really sharp on the whistle. But we have to take the man against the Islanders because they're a skating team too, you know, and in our hand, if we don't hit them, they'll be all over the place and we'll be hurt for sure.
Mario, you were born here, you played your junior hockey here, and we can talk about how wrapped up Quebec City is in the Nordiques and in this playoff series and 2 others before it, but it's better coming from you, having been here a lot of your life. Does it help to know that just about every citizen in this city is backing you guys, and there is that kind of excitement around town?
Oh, yeah, they really they are crazy right now, I'm telling you. They want us to win a lot, and for a guy who's from the city like me, it's sometimes it could be difficult. I didn't have that trouble this year, but when things go bad for someone, they really go after him and they tell him, you know, and it's tough to handle that, and I hope I won't have any trouble like that. But for the rest, it's pretty good, you know, my hometown, and hockey is really good in Quebec.
How difficult is it on your defense with players playing one night and then not the next? You're in tonight, Dale Hoganson is in, a couple of players out. It could be different the next game as it was the last game. Is that tough?
Yeah, I found out tonight was tough at first. You know, you're nervous much more, and you gotta have that first period out of the system, and after that, I think you'll be all right. But tonight I was nervous more than the other games.
Are you pleased with the way the team played in the first period? Because I thought that there was a lot more intensity for the Nordiques than there was in Long Island, and that's to be expected with the crowd behind you.
Oh yeah, we play much better. We're skating more, we're hitting more, so I think it would be in good shape.
Okay, thank you to Mario Marois, Quebec defenseman, as the Nordiques and the Islanders are tied at 2. We'll be sending you to Vancouver shortly for more from the Blackhawks and the Canucks as Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
Buying a lottery ticket?
Uh-huh.
How about a Super Lotto?
You mean this one?
Super Lotto's the only lottery that can make you a millionaire now, with 2 big chances at a tax-free million.
What's going on?
A new scratch and win that can make you $10,000 richer instantly.
How'd you do that?
And a Super Sunday draw at the end of each month.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah?
I'm sold.
Good.
Can you teach me how to do that?
The only lottery that can make you a millionaire now.
A town can die if it ain't got protection. Well, the folks around here wouldn't buy that. So I went ahead and bought my own Res Woodstain. Res protection lasts because Res grinds its colors so fine that it gets right into the wood and sticks there. Buy Res protection, I said. But they wouldn't listen. And where are they now?
Thank you. Oh, and remember, at Holiday Inn, you get our no excuses guarantee in writing. Everything in your room will be right, or we'll make it right. No excuses, or that night you stay free. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
Now, what other hotel chain gives you that guarantee? A guarantee that comes from every one of us at Holiday Inn to you, because we want to take care of you. We give you a guarantee, not excuses.
Spend a little time with Sanyo, and you'll have the time of your life. It's a big sound that goes a long way. That's never missing your favorite play. It's a meal prepared while you're away. It's enjoying sports in a big way. Spend a little time with Sanyo. You'll have the time of your life. 'Cause Sanyo makes life's good things better.
Islanders 2 and the Nordiques 2 at the end of the first period of play at the Colisée in Quebec City. And when last we checked at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, the Canucks and the Blackhawks were tied at 2. We're going to send you there now. Grant Mulvey of Chicago's just taken a penalty.
Mulvey for interference, 16:40. Thomas Gradine, wearing that eye shield, had a couple of facial injuries in the second half of the season. Couldn't keep the puck on side, bringing it out now. Balderin. Watch Mike Gardner, who's an excellent skater and a good penalty killer. Gardner and Patterson are the penalty-killing forwards for Chicago, and they've been very good at it all season. Gradine with the puck. Out there with Belland, Balderin, Smeal, and Williams. Stan Smeal brings it in off his skate. Williams put it to the corner. Williams with the puck. Watched by Beamster. Gradine to Belland. The quick shot. Deflects just high. The Smeal got a piece of it in front. And it's cleared out by Rick Patterson. Neil Belland goes to the puck. The score is 2-2. 2.5 minutes left, first period. Balderin. Rushing in on Fox. Waiting for help now as he banks the puck around to Smeal in the corner. Williams from the corner. Watched by Patterson, who now switches with the defenseman Beamster to pick up the winger. Belland. In deep to Balderin, coming out of the corner. Fox checking him. 42 seconds left in the power play. Belland missed that great chance as he tried to get the shot. Now the Hawks come out. Gardner in on Gradine. Gardner shoots. Oh, Brodeur had to be alert to stop the shot as Bill Gardner slapped that shot. And now the Hawks get a face-off in the Vancouver zone.
Well, that penalty killing has always been a strength of the Blackhawks in Chicago. Very effective. Tonight, the Canucks, a couple of goals, and Belland was in good position to add a third one in there. Pass perhaps coming a little bit too fast, just couldn't control it.
That's right. He tried to pull a Thomas Gradine, but the pass just was too far ahead of him, and he couldn't get his stick in position. But certainly, he had the right idea. And I think what they have to continue to do is get the puck to the point man in the center of the ice and shoot it.
Eldebrink leaves it for Halinka. 23 seconds left in Mulvey's penalty. 2-2 tie. 1:40 left in the first period. Darcy Rhoda coming in on Doug Wilson, who keeps right after him. Nil back for Rhoda. Check. Murray sweeps the puck down the ice. Brodeur feeds it ahead to Eldebrink with only 5 seconds left in Mulvey's penalty. Rhoda for Nil. Couldn't get loose. Wilson cleared the puck away. Eldebrink shouted by Lysiak, and the Hawks are back at full strength. Successful in killing that penalty. Halinka. Nice move. The shot deflects wide. Rhoda looking in front. Centered it through the crease. Halinka was decked. Howard shot deflects wide. Darcy Rhoda centering it. It deflects off the goaltender. For the last minute of the period, here come the Hawks. Peter Marsh. In on Eldebrink. Marsh shoots. Brodeur made the stop. Had the angle covered. Howard didn't get that puck out. Either did Minor. Now Eldebrink goes to the puck. 40 seconds left in the period. Eldebrink. Icing might be called here. Beamster hustles to the puck. Icing called on Vancouver. 28 seconds left in the period.
That was first period action in Vancouver. The Canucks and the Blackhawks tied at 2, as are the Islanders and the Quebec Nordiques here at the Quebec Colisée, and we'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
When the Crusaders won the championship, some people thought the new Cooper All Protective System gave them an unfair advantage. So what's unfair? Sure, Cooperall gives you a great new look, a new freedom of movement, and more comfort. But it's based on an old idea. Better protection. And there's nothing unfair about that. You see, if we protect you better, we think you play better. Right, guys? Right! Cooperall, from Cooper. Be your best.
The ultimate offer. As proof of the confidence Ford has in the quality of their cars, the great three-part offer is now extended to cover 10 car lines. You get 2 years scheduled maintenance. That gives you 2 years parts and labor at no extra cost. You'll also get a comprehensive 2-year warranty. So for 2 years, virtually all you pay for is gas. And to top it off, buy now and get a special 5% cash bonus up to $500. The ultimate offer is the closest thing to cost-free driving. Details at Ford and Mercury dealers.
Providing their share of the family income makes a lot of sense to a lot of women these days. And so does buying life insurance. Think about your future and talk it over with a Mutual Life of Canada agent.
Sunshine and bright, this is the life. Hey, what a day. Hey, what a day. Riding the breeze, taking it easy. Hey, what a great day. Break away with the taste that's clean and clear. Molson Canadian, a great Canadian. Break away.
Find someone to look after your investments, John?
Yes, Pitfield Mackay Ross did an outstanding job. First, they did an in-depth review of my finances. Then they laid out a portfolio that's just right for my needs. And they follow up, make sure it's always up to date. But you must have heard of Pitfield.
I've done business with Pitfield Mackay Ross for years. They've got the right people in the right places.
The right people. That's Pitfield Mackay Ross.
Pitfield Mackay Ross. Choosing us could be your most important investment decision.
The Islanders 2, Nordiques 2. The second period about to get underway. Dick, have you time for a summary?
Now, after McRae's early goal, Bossy on a power play, Peter Stastny on a power play, Bourne on a power play. Quebec outshot the Islanders in that first period, 10-8.
Number 6, a minute and 2 seconds. That is Morrow, and 32, the same amount of time. That's Hunter. Trottier has a minute and 20 seconds, and Peter Stastny a minute and 20. So they're playing four aside, and there's Potvin coming in on the left side. Carroll is getting in front, but the shot goes off the leg of Marwa into the corner. Carroll getting it back to Potvin. Lane is over on the other side. There it goes to Lane. He takes the shot. Carroll into the corner, zigging and zagging. He's given a shove there by DuPont, and Hickey has it for the Nordiques. Quebec into the center ice area. Here is Marwa cutting in, and he lost it to Potvin. Potvin coming out rather slowly, gets a neat pass on the left side to Bourne. He winds up for the shot. Blocked there by Pichette. Pichette takes his man Bourne in on the board. Struggling forward is Bourne, and it is loose for Pichette. Now then, Morrow and Hunter out of the penalty box. Quebec down on the right side. Langevin got a piece of Payman, who then shoved his man, Persson. Payman couldn't get it. It comes to the side of the net. Morrow of the Islanders takes his time trying to shake off Payman to Persson over on the other side. Langevin gives it to Morrow. He's going to take the long shot. And that seemed to catch Bouchard under where? At times, Bobby, I think Bouchard has been a bit shaky. Now into the corner, they fight for it. The other penalized players are back in circulation as Hunter makes a move, plays it over on the other side. It's cleared by Pichette and gobbled up there by Coutier, the shot, and he ripped it off Langevin. Now the Islanders into the center ice area. Keller leading Trottier. Bossy is getting in front, and Bossy was covered well there by Weir. The Islanders getting it out. Keller's shot. It's to the side of the net. Now Goulet failed to clear it out. It's slashed back by Keller. That's Bossy going after Weir to the other side. Cloutier could not negotiate contact, and it goes right back into the New York zone. 2 minutes and 30 seconds have gone by in the second period. 2-2 the score. The Islanders to the attack, broken up by Weir. They recover it. There's Caller, the back pass for Nystrom. Feeding it in for Merrick, knocked away by Hoganson. Nystrom into the corner, watched by Aubry. Now Goulet is going to be able to bring it into the center ice area. On the far side, he has Cloutier the shot. No difficulty there for Smith. Merrick wrapped it off the boards down the ice. There's no icing on it. Now we have played exactly 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the second period. The power play was a dominant factor of the opening period. The team splitting 4 goals. That's the way the scoring story looks at the moment, 2-2. There's Weir with a rather nimble pass. Anton Stastny couldn't get it, and Merrick shot. Goes to Nystrom. Lining him up is Weir, and Weir missed him. Nystrom takes a look. Weir now after Nystrom again. The Islanders on the board. Merrick clearing it back into the corner. That is Tonelli. He centered it in front, and Merrick couldn't fire it onto the target. It hit a stick in front of Bouchard. Now Peter Stastny. Stastny clearing it right in front for Murray and Stastny. And it was Nystrom, who is an excellent two-way hockey player, got back. Nystrom is particularly tough, Bobby Hull, in the playoffs.
Oh, he's strong. We all remember that big goal he scored back in 80 series.
Now getting it at center. Boring trying to set up Gillies after taking the Sutter pass. Somebody is injured there. That's Rochefort.
He went into the board awfully heavily. Fell into it, it seemed, with his right shoulder down on the boards just above the ice. He went in there with Clark Gillies. Concern, of course, expressed by Michel Bergeron as Rochefort is down in the area behind the Quebec net.
That's all they need, another injured defenseman.
Oh, yeah, tonight, you know, DuPont is playing hurt, Marois is playing hurt, Hoganson is playing hurt. That's the experience, Bobby, that they have, and these young defensemen began to show signs of wear and tear, I thought, in the third period the other night in New York in Game 2, and you can't blame them. They have no playoff experience, and they're having to do all the work.
You have to give them a great deal of credit. I've said that all through the series here. Montreal, Boston, and now here in the New York series, that Pichette and Rochefort have played so very, very well for rookies.
Well, regardless of what happens, they have already fashioned one of the outstanding and exciting stories. They're going to look at it.
There's that collision where Rochefort went into the boards. Clark Gillies, a pretty big guy to budge going into a situation like that.
Okay, we might take a look here and see how Rochefort falls as he goes down, and as you can see, as he disappeared out of camera range, he sort of went in shoulder first as he hit the board low just above the ice. So now he is on his feet. The Nordics number 5, Normand Rochefort from the Colisée in Quebec City. This is Stanley Cup 82.
Everybody thinks that sunshine is good for pictures.
It's not?
Well, not when it throws shadows.
Like when?
Like now.
So?
So, Polaroid put a piece of the sun in their sun camera. And new 600-speed film. See what a difference the sun camera makes?
Oh, I like it. But what does it do in good light?
Well, then we touch up the small shadows. Mixing in our light can make any picture better.
What's it cost to get a piece of the sun?
Oh, just shipping and handling. And the usual markup.
See what a difference it makes.
4:34 gone in this second period, a 2-2 tie. The New York Islanders and the Quebec Nordiques, and Normand Rochefort has been taken to the Quebec dressing room after that collision with first Clark Gillies and with the boards here just a moment ago.
The fourth game of this series will be played here at the Colisée on Tuesday. They get set for the face-off in the Nordic zone, and it's back to Lane. To Potvin, a good pass to Sutter. Tries to set up Gillies, and he is called on the offside. You know, the enthusiastic, noisy, and excited capacity crowd of Nordic fans no doubt remember well and are still savoring that sweet comeback victory against Boston. And, of course, the Nordiques were down after 2 games. So what are the fans thinking here? We're going to start the comeback against the Islanders with this game tonight.
And very possible.
But right now it's tied at 2. There's Lane slapping it. Pichette getting it back to the line. Over the line, Anton Stastny shot! And a brilliant save with that right arm by Smith. Anton Stastny showed a lot of grit, determination, and dedication, and an excellent shot, too. When he hunches over, Bobby, he can move. Down the ice it goes. This could be icing against Quebec.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Colisée in Quebec City.
Ford and its dealers announce cash rebates on new light trucks.
Face-off is to the left of Bouchard. You have Pearson up along with Langevin, who takes the shot, the rebound. It went off Bourne. Now Bourne gets it handed to him, to Bossy. A good move against Hunter. Back to Pearson. A grab there. Bouchard looked very steady and brilliant on that one.
Certainly did. That's Quebec. They're being a little lethargic in their own end. They're not just jumping on, they're giving that puck away in their own end.
Pearson let it go from just inside the blue line. I think early indications in this period, Danielle is a little bit sharper. Danny? You don't mind if we call you Danny? Or
that is all right. There's nothing in my contract that says that you have to call me Daniel.
There's a lot of money in your contract.
I'm just satisfied to have a contract.
Just don't call you late for dinner.
If you've just started to look in on us, 2-2, there's a shot. I thought it might be 3-2 when Bossy wound up, but the shot hit a player in front. Now Coutier is coming back, and he drops it back. Hunter centers it. Ricochet. And it almost on the ricochet of the pass got by Smith. I think you have to be a bit lucky to have a ricochet like that stay out.
I'd rather be
There's
lucky
a
than
shot. That was Hoganson taking it. Not too much on that one to the other side. Langevin giving it to Bourne. Trottier leading his man, Bossy. Weir got back. Bossy still with it. He centered it. Langevin shooting it. Blocked by Bouchard. Nordiques into the center ice area. There's Goulet swinging to one side. Crisscrossing Coutier. Coutier getting in front. And Pearson cleared it. Finally, it's out over the line. Nordiques with Pichette waiting for his teammates to get onside. Rolled it in. Langevin missed his man. This could be icing going back after it. Pichette icing against New York.
And the Nordiques injury prone again as far as their defense corps is concerned. There is Mario Marois, Dave's guest in the first intermission. He's just been walking off an injury up and down the corridor. Rochefort has gone to the dressing room. He's hurt. Boy, they are really suffering. They're like snake bitten, Bobby, and that defense corps of theirs.
Well, I'd like to see Michel Bergeron, coach of Quebec, change his lines maybe a little quicker. They seem to be getting caught out there in long changes, and that's when things happen. They get mentally tired, physically tired. They make mistakes.
All right, you say more quickly. What time would you give a line?
Oh, right now, I don't think they should. I think they should be heading for the bench after a half a minute if the play is going into the opposition, if they don't have a good try at it.
That's what I like, that specific stuff. There's the shot. Smith didn't like that, but he got in front of it, and Weir let it go, but it was fairly high. Now Pichette in there, forechecking Nystrom along with Merrick. Or Nystrom, will he get it in front? It went off the Bouchard stick over the glass.
This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Colisée in Quebec City.
Where do you see it?
The Islanders 2, Nordiques 2. Janssen and Morrow up on the Nordiques line. We're getting it out on the left side. There's a pass into the center ice area. Here's Hickey cutting in, putting on the brakes. Cote slammed it. Hickey takes the shot. Morrow playing it ahead to Nystrom. Mary got away from Cote's check. Offside pass to Tonelli.
Well, there is John Tonelli, who's become quite a hockey player. The winning goal when they won their 15th straight on Chico Resch late in the third period. The overtime goal that gave them the victory in the first series, that close one over Pittsburgh.
Saw John's dad last night at a roast they had for Brother Dennis up in Milton, Ontario by the Optimist Club. Told me make sure to say hello to his son and wish him all the best. We had a great time. Great time.
Was Dennis very humorous?
Oh, he is so humorous. We had the greatest group of speakers that I have ever heard. They were very, very, very excellent speakers. Brother Dennis, he topped it all off, and he roasted everyone else's.
Don't tell me you roasted your brother.
I had nothing bad to say about it.
Now it's Nystrom coming to the line, making a move. And it hit Weir. Score is tied at 2. Hulkinson's pass too hard for Paymont, and it's cleared down the ice by Nystrom, mixing it up now with Paymont. Oh, a right hand by Nystrom, and that leads to a struggle. Paymont and Nystrom.
A couple of pretty tough cookies there.
That was a pretty good left hand there by Paymont.
Just grazed him, I think.
Yeah, Paymont got the sweater up and off, it looks like. Bob Nystrom has a reputation, if you are interested in this sort of thing involved with a hockey game, of being a pretty good battler. Paymont stood right in there. It's interesting when you see one fella, Bobby, with a helmet and the other doesn't have a helmet. Well, they both are battle-scarred warriors when that one's over. Paymont started the game with a patch on his chin area. There he is in the penalty box with the score. The New York Islanders 2 and the Quebec Nordics 2. This is Stanley Cup 82.
These men have just bought the 1982 Lawn Boy Supreme.
Well, I try to take a look at the beginning of this Bob Nystrom-Wilf Paymont confrontation. There it goes, off the boards. And was it when they came off the boards, Danny, that Nystrom swung around with the right hand? Anyway, there's Paymont in the box. They both received 7 minutes, 2 minutes for roughing and 5-minute major penalties for fighting. And that's Nystrom. He's yelling down toward the referee, not toward Wilf Paymont.
And numerically, the manpower situation on the ice is not altered because of the assessment of these penalties.
Nystrom's asking permission, Danny, to leave the penalty box and go to the dressing room with an equipment problem. The reaction from the crowd, predictable. It's 2-2 here, 2-2 in Vancouver, where the Canucks and the Blackhawks are playing Game 3 in their Campbell Conference Final.
It is Gillies, Goring, Lane. Sutter, there's a shot rolled in, and another shot by Gillies. Gillies had 2 chances, and these were tricky shots, Bobby.
Well, Gillies stayed with his man and fought him off, DuPont, and the puck came to him on his backhand, and he fired it just about went through Bouchard's leg.
Bobby, when you think of this game, it just kind of, the Islanders have had 2 or 3 chances like that. The Nordiques are not jumping on the rebounds at the other end of the rink. That seems to be one thing that they could be doing a little bit better.
Well, I said early they were a little lethargic in their own end in clearing the puck. They gave it away a couple times, and they aren't just as sharp as they could be.
Well, lethargy cannot be a part of your play if you're playing a competent and experienced team such as the New York Islanders. You'll pay for that lethargy.
You certainly do.
But right now, the price has not been too exacting. The score is tied at 2. Dwayne Sutter in the corner. He's knocked to the ice by DuPont. Marwa gets it ahead. Marian Stastny into the center ice area with his brothers. A drop pass. Anton over to Peter. It's shoved into the center ice area by Gillies, going down with Sutter. Sutter dropping it back, and thank you very much, says Peter Stastny. And he leads this man, which is his brother, Marian, down the ice. Anton, Marian Stastny had his stick held by Lane, and solicitously he looked at the referee as much as to say, how about a penalty there?
For the second time in the game, the Vancouver Canucks have gone ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks. This is in the second period of play, and the goal is scored by Kurt Fraser. Just outside the face-off circle, he beats Murray Bannerman in the Chicago net. The Canucks lead the Hawks again, 3-2.
So Vancouver going ahead 3-2. Fraser's a very valuable hockey player, much underrated, I think.
I spent a summer playing hockey with him. He played with my boys. He's a strong kid.
Now the players fall in behind the net. That is Hunter along with Pearson.
Well, there is the battle-scarred Wolf Paymont in the penalty box. He had that, as I mentioned, that patch on his chin at the start of the hockey game. Just doesn't help when you get involved with something like that with Nystrom.
I see Wilford's parents here again. They're big, strong folks. And Rozier, his brother, who's up from his Coral Plaza motel that he has down in Fort Lauderdale. Really great spot.
Well, I don't think he could get his 15 brothers and sisters here. They wouldn't have enough tickets available. But he has done great work for Quebec since coming here from Toronto. In on the board from the Nordique zone. It's held there for the face-off. And the Paymonts welcomed their second child just before Wilf was traded to Quebec.
Correct.
So they're going to keep up that tradition. Ten minutes and 58 seconds, the time remaining in the second period. Islanders 2, Nordiques 2. It is Dupont. Marois swings over to the other side. It's lugged up by Dupont. A good pass into the center ice area. Cloutier banged Hunter's pass in. Here is Smith. Hunter knocks Langevin down. The Nordiques. Penalty for charging, I think, the call against Hunter. And Langevin is warning number 32, Hunter of Quebec.
What happened there? Hunter tried to get Langevin involved. Langevin just pointed to the penalty box, and that's where Dale Hunter's headed for right now. Hockey Night in
And a little X.
I'd like to talk to the owner of this establishment.
The good things never change. Molson Export keeps on tasting great.
Oh, I hope it's sunny tomorrow.
What? Give up all this?
Charging call on Dale Hunter of the Nordiques at 9:18. We see it here in the corner to the left of the Islanders zone. Look at Hunter coming in at the top of your screen, nailing Langevin against the board. So New York, Danny, on a power play.
And I would think, Bobby, that the coach will not be praiseworthy toward Hunter. That's not a good thing. Pearson. It goes to Keller up on the right side. Merrick takes it with his skates. Merrick around the net, getting in front is Tonelli. Back it goes to Potvin. Pearson over to Potvin. He flows in, takes the shot. And it went off Bouchard. Somebody broke a stick there. It's an Islander. So that neutralizes the manpower advantage for the Nonce at least, but Keller has it. That is his stick. And the puck to Potvin. Pearson lost that pass to Hickey. Cote and Hickey up front killing penalties. Now they are relieved by Goulet and by Peter Stastny. Islanders were in the process of making a change there, and they were not in a position to receive that pass, so they got nowhere. As a matter of fact, they're experiencing all kinds of difficulty mounting something of an effective nature on this power play. There's an offside. Would you agree with that, Mr. Hall?
I certainly will, Danny. I don't know what they're trying to do. I believe everyone, by the looks of things, they're rushing out of their own end a little too quickly. They're leaving the men with the puck back behind the blue line and no one to give it to, and they're having to throw it through a Quebec player in order to get it to the Nordiques, and they're having problems getting it past them.
Well, the Nordiques' best forward in the second game of the series in New York has been on the ice exactly once tonight. I have reference to Mark Tardif. And he's having problems here with the fans. In the second half, he did not play commensurate with his enormous talent. He has a lot of talent, no question about it. But if they keep getting injuries, he'll be out.
Maybe he can play defense.
And Dupont just went to the dressing room.
Now Pearson over on the far side. He hit Bourne in to the slot area. Hoganson couldn't clear it out. Trottier gave it to his man Bourne to Pearson. Off the leg. Nordiques were very slow to react there. They had stopped that shot. Goulet did with his leg. Now chasing it to the far side along the boards. That is Bourne. Trottier looking for it, and it's cleared down the ice by Peter Stastny. Hunter will be out before the Islanders can get going again. Now Hunter is out of the penalty box. Here's Bossy in on the right side. Goring is racing in. There's a shot off the leg. It's swept down the ice by Hickey. And Janssen back. An icing infraction against the Nordics. Scored tied at 2.
The Islanders did not have a shot on goal during the penalty to Dale Hunter as they look at Thomas Janssen, a 21-year-old recruit from Sweden in his first NHL season. Probably not a wide-open hockey game. I think a lot of us thought it might be in this building. The Nordiques, an offensive-type club, at least during the regular season. 13-13, the shots through this point were past the halfway mark. Quite a contrast from the other night. Quebec had 31 or 32 shots first 2 periods.
Smith was very hot during that stand.
I see DuPont is back near the bench talking to the trainer. I think that's tape he's getting.
There's thumb injury, you know, and it's bothering him again. Heard it in the first game of the series.
Pichette cleared it to the far side, dashing in Goring. Cloutier covered up on him. Pichette lost it, Cloutier with it. Islanders, everybody in over the line, doing the forechecking. Gillies clearing it in front. Score tie at 2. Weir in on the boards along with Dwayne Sutter. And they get a whistle.
Well, a bit more pushing and shoving, but the action isn't exactly breathtaking right here at this point of the hockey game. Dave Pichette involved down there in the middle of things, along with Clark Gillies and others. Mark Tardif's on, Danny just saw. We have a couple of presidents on your screen right now. On the left is John Ziegler, president of the National Hockey League. And on the right of your screen, Marcel Aubout, the president of the Quebec Nordiques, as they sit directly behind the Quebec players' bench.
7 minutes and 58 seconds, the time remaining. The shots on goal reflective of a rather slow, not wide open type of second period. Shots on goal 13 for each team. A body belt there by Gillies. Against Weir, the Nordics lose it. Here's Goring feeding it in front to Gillies. And he was being checked. That was one that looked like a devastating mistake for the Nordiques. Now coming down. Cardiff is on. Over on this side it goes to Weir. The shot. Cardiff looking for a rebound, but there was none.
Game is still tied 2-2. Live from Quebec City, the Stanley Cup playoff.
What you got there, pal?
Oh, Harry, it's a Stanley garage door opener.
And there you see the score, Islanders 2, Nordiques 2, all goals coming in the first period, which was certainly from a spectator's point of view a much more pleasing period than this. But the purist might tell you that this is better. I don't know. You tell me.
Guess I'm not a purist.
That's why I didn't have
Neither is Bobby. Now it goes to the other side on the boards. Puck is loose. The Islanders coming up with it. There's been a fair and a sizable number of giveaways.
Mentioned that earlier. They're really giving the puck away. They're just
That's very
not
sloppy.
sharp at all.
That's very sloppy there. Now into the center ice area. Peter Stastny. Stastny putting on the brakes. In it goes off the stick. Anton Stastny still with it. Back it goes. And they miscue on that setup, and that was Anton Stastny who was responsible. You know what might open it up and make them a little sharper? A goal to break the tie. Let's see who's going to get it, if anybody in this period. On the boards, Marian Stastny coming into the center ice area. Fires it over to Anton. Anton into the slot area, being checked, cleared it in front. And Lane gets it to the line, not out. Weir knocked it back. There's Lane again. And Keller. When he first came here, he was known as Kallur, very sophisticated. Now it's coming in front. But that name has been North Americanized to Keller. Here is Peter Stastny. In over the line. Marian Stastny winds up. And the goalie on that was Lane. A little pressure here now by the Nordiques. Finally, it's cleared down to the Quebec line. Pichette hands it off to Weir. Back to Pichette, forechecking Carroll. Up on the right side. Hickey couldn't get it. 5.5 minutes remaining in the second period. There is an offside.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Colisée in Quebec City.
You know you've wanted a home for...
Face off outside the Islanders line. It's ripped in there by Marwa. He almost hit Wally Harris. Had he hit him, it may have delayed his golfing season. He's a two-handicapper.
The handy guy for the Islanders, Billy Carroll, 22 years of age, former London junior. Sees him a lot in a defensive role. He doesn't play in this. This is a kind of a new line out here now. Carroll, Gillies, and Brett Sutter.
Langevin ahead to Dwayne Sutter. Carroll reaching for it. Marwa turning, scored tied at 2. Pouncing on it, Pearson to Gillies. He's upended at the line. Carroll in there to get possession. Into the corner. Brent Sutter passing it back. And it goes down the ice. 4 minutes and 46 seconds left in the second period. Up to the line, the Islanders. Here's Carroll chasing it, broken up, given back to the Islanders by DuPont, and Langevin shot it in. Here's DuPont getting a second shot to set up a play. He gets the pass to Cloutier. Coming in is Goulet over with Hunter. Good back-checking there by number 22, who is known mostly for his goals. I have reference to Bossy. He came back there very well. Janssen flipping it. And it goes to the bench of the Nordiques and then falls to the ice.
You know, Bobby, you were mentioning off the top of the show that some of the Islanders say, well, you know, we're getting bored by all this, but it's interesting to be in New York to get the reaction down there. They really can't do anything right in the eyes of some people. They expect so much of them as we look ahead to the promotional fact that next Tuesday night, Game 4 will be played here at the Colisée, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. You know, they've won 6 of the last 7 playoff games, and yet the feeling is, what's wrong with the Islanders? You know, that's the price you pay for success.
Nordiques failed to hold it in. Marwa to Cloutier. Now DuPont takes a look. Where will his pass go? It's a bit of a shot, rolling it in over the line. It's loose in the slot area. Backhand shot by Goulet, and he never did get it airborne. He was up against Bourne. Well, if you're not going to get it airborne, I suppose you should be up against Bourne. Now it's into the center ice area. At the line, here's Trottier with Bossy. Pass into the slot again. Bourne was belted there by Hunter. Janssen cleared it into the center ice area. Bossy got it back to Morrow, to Bossy, 2-2 the score. Here's Bossy falling. He fell without taking a body check. Morrow shoots it, kicked nimbly to the wing by Bouchard. The Nordiques, led by Anton Stastny, and over the line with Marion. They roll it right in front. The Trottier was there as much as to say, here I am, give it to me. There is a mix-up over at the line. Trottier and a Hunter, they went out together earlier, and they almost came to blows there. The linesman got in there.
I don't think Wally Harris really saw that. I doubt very much whether there'll be any penalties, but these two guys are back at each other's throats again. If it isn't Peter Stastny that Trottier is after, it's Dale Hunter.
Bobby, am I right in saying that your heart tells you Chicago in the other series, but maybe your head says Vancouver?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Vancouver got a split in those 2 games in Chicago.
Yes, they did, but I think Chicago can still win in Vancouver. There's that mix-up that we were talking about earlier with Trottier and Hunter, and they are not going to receive penalties.
3 minutes exactly. That is the time left in the second period. Score tied at 2, and Goring, ever alert, almost batted it away from Hoganson into the net. Bouchard. Ordinarily, that type of thing would catch you off guard.
There's Hoganson and Pichette playing tic-tac-toe back there behind the blue line in front of Bouchard, and Goring and Dwayne Sutter in quickly on top of the two defensemen, causing them to cough up the puck.
And that is Weir. Gillies stops him. Now Weir and Gillies pinning in on the boards. 2:44 left.
Now there's big Wally Weir, pressed into service, you might say, in these playoffs with the injuries on defense with the Nordiques. He did not see that much service at various times during the season. Played as a forward, Bobby, as the season came to an end. Back on defense now.
I bet they're pleased that he can play defense in this situation.
Turned into a handy guy for them.
Goring against Peter Stastny on this face-off. Potvin playing up with Lane, back to Potvin. In for Gillies to Potvin. Shot off a stick. Goring's passed up by Stastny, who failed to clear it out. Hoganson got it into the center ice area with that flip. Potvin to Lane. Off Sutter. Sutter getting in there. Loose puck. Centered again. And the Nordiques may be able to work it out. They do. They go into the center ice area led by Stastny Peter. Back to the line. It rolls in. And Potvin leading a three-man attack for the Islanders. Here's Potvin. And that is an offside. That's unpardonable.
We welcome the viewers who have been watching the Vancouver-Chicago telecast. I'm Dick Irvin with Danny Gallivan, Dave Hodge, and Bobby Hull here at the Colisée in Quebec City. 2 minutes and 6 seconds remain in the second period, and the Nordiques and the Islanders are in a 2-2 tie in a game that has produced a lot of close checking, a total of only 31 shots on goal, 16-15 for the Islanders. We are late in this second period.
The Islanders had that break led by Potvin, 3 of them. An offside, you wouldn't think it would happen. Lack of discipline or what?
Honor the puck carrier. Maybe it's getting to that point where they're getting a little slack mentally and not doing what's proper.
Now it's out to the line, and out it came in for the offside.
Talked with Al Arbour, coach of the Islanders, said that he didn't think that his team had played as well after they went that 15 games without losing. They didn't feel that they've got back on track since then. Maybe they're just like a great racehorse. They only play hard enough to win. What do you think?
Well, it must be tough on their fans at times. Now Aubry clearing it in. A penalty. Cote was upended. Interference will be the call. Nystrom, I believe.
He has just come out of the penalty box. Nystrom and Wilk Paymon had a very vigorous fight. Earlier in this second period, they received 7 minutes in penalties as a result. There goes Nystrom back in. 3 of the 4 goals in this game coming as a result of power plays, all in the first period. Scoring for Quebec, McRae and Peter Stastny, and for the Islanders, Mike Fossey and Bob Bourne. Now we see why number 23, Bob Nystrom, has been penalized right here. There's a bit of a traffic jam inside the Islanders' blue line. Down goes Cote, and away to the penalty box goes Nystrom.
So a minute and 43 seconds will be the time that the Nordiques have before the end of this period to go ahead. This has not been a titillating second period of hockey. In fact, it has been on the dull side at times. With the score tied 2-2, they have been exceptionally cautious at times. Now the Nordiques are on the power play, 4 of them into the center ice area. Pass goes for Cloutier. He couldn't come up with it. Goring does. What a penalty killer he is. He's in over the line. Killing off very valuable seconds. Got it back to Potvin. We have the Stastnys out there. Peter, Merriam, and Anton. Pichette and Cloutier. And so far, in the first 43 seconds, the Nordiques have done nothing on the power play. They're going to try it again. They're broken up. Here comes the Islanders. Keller is getting a break, going right in. A goal. She scores!
short-handed goal, and I know, Bobby, hindsight's 20/20, but boy, the Nordiques were just going nowhere, as Danny mentioned, and it cost them.
Oh, couldn't you see it coming, though? They didn't seem to want that puck, anyone coming out of their own end. They couldn't make that crisp pass that they generally do, and this is what culminated in.
Well, Kalor gets the puck as it comes loose in the center ice zone, and it's pushed ahead by Bob Bourne. Good move, Bobby, by Kalor as he goes in close. Look at that side.
Well, Bourne made the big play, pushed it ahead of Pichette, then took Pichette out so he couldn't get over to Kalor.
And these European hockey players, Bobby, have a great flair for finishing off a play with a flourish.
They sure know how to get it done.
You know, they deke and move around, generally using the wrist shot. 35 seconds the time left in the period. 50 seconds remaining in the penalty to Nystrom. And the Islanders are leading 3-2. There's an offside. No cohesion in the power play for Quebec.
Here's that Kalor going in on Bouchard. Makes Bouchard make that first move, and then fired it low to the far corner.
So Bourne on the assist, Kalor at 19-12 on the shorthanded goal, and the Islanders up.
One moment, please.
To 15. That is in the shots on goal. And they lead in the game 3-2. By virtue of a shorthanded goal, here's Tardif. And there you see the lack of that crisp passing about which Bobby referred a moment or so ago. Out and comes to Marlowe, the shot right on, rebound. And the period has ended, and that was their best scoring opportunity on the power play.
And it ends possibly with Denny Potvin getting a break because he seemed to reach out, grab the puck. But as they leave the ice, the shorthanded goal by Kalor standing up as the Islanders lead by 1. And so the score at the end of the second period, the New York Islanders 3 and the Quebec Nordiques 2.
You know, I think maybe I'll retire.
Oh, no.